Um, these three guys presented in the Venice days three movies that I personally believe deal a lot with the concept of memory. The three young people in the Marion Hänsel Noir Océan, as you will see, are three young guys, but in the 70s. So they are very close to us, and they are very far from us in a way. In the Pappi Corsicato short movie, you will see the tradition of a museum, the famous museum in Naples, and the expression of a very contemporary art facing the past. And the story of Lisetta Carmi, the movie by Daniele Segre, is the story of an old and very young lady who passed through the century with very, very different experiences. So it deals a lot with the idea of memory. And before leaving you the micro, I just want to ask to Pappi to add something precisely about his own film, but because Marion talked to us about the importance of the influence of the other arts, and Capo Dio Monte is the relationship between two or three different forms of expression.
In realtà questo è un corto su un artista che ha esposto le sue opere in questo museo che era una reggia fino all'Ottocento e poi è diventato un museo. E quindi c'è questo artista che si chiama Luigi Ontani, che di fatto lui appunto forse in particolar modo in questo caso e anche in questo museo è quello che forse è quello più emblematico come tra gli artisti, perché di fatto lui si rifà molto all'arte del passato e rivista oggi attraverso se stesso, nel senso lui si mette in scena, anche le sue opere, diciamo, le sue statue rappresentano se stesso, tipo appunto vestito da Napoleone piuttosto che da Sfinge, e quindi in quel senso appunto forse è un artista che diciamo, in cui il suo lavoro, come dire, è la espressione più chiara e più diretta col passato, e quindi appunto credo che sia giusto appunto, credo che sia appunto l'espressione più giusta per questo, diciamo, per questo incontro, fermo restando che appunto nel caso specifico ovviamente è un video, quindi c'è anche un mio contributo ovviamente visivo. Non so più che dire. No, comunque diciamo l'idea che secondo me è un artista che ben sposa questa l'idea del convegno di oggi. In few words.
Yes, the short is about this artist that exhibited in a very important museum in Naples. It's an historical place. It used to be a palace until late 19th century. This artist is called Luigi Ottani, and he exhibits in this museum, and he refers a lot to the past, reinterpreting the past through himself. So even the statues he makes, he bases them on his own person, and then he's dressed up as Napoleon, as a Sphinx, etc. So his work is really an expression, the clearest and the most direct expression of a relation with the past and with memories. So I think it's very appropriate in respect to the subject that we're dealing today.
Thank you. My name's Nick, and I'm here to represent us as young people and cinema enthusiasts and filmmakers. Now, talking about memory, I think that just because we're young people doesn't necessarily mean that we have no experience, because if we think about when you're a teenager, young person, the issues that affect us at that age seem as enormous as the crises which affect the world at large that we see in the news. For example, Romeo and Juliet were 13, 14 years old. All that happened was a familial dispute, and they killed themselves. that's how large the issues seem to us when we're young. So just because we have no long-term memory, let's try and use our cultural memory and our awareness of our young experience and use that positively and creatively.
Okay, I absolutely love and like to know that you young people are going to the film, the cinema, love it, and keep this tradition going. Not only internet, but film, real film. And you talking about your young memory. Maybe you are, I don't know, 22. I have no idea. Whatever. And you thinking when I was a teenager, or 14 or 15, it's maybe not even 10 years ago, but making the film that I'm going to show tonight, Noir Océan, speaks about boys, about 18, 19, taken in kind of dramatic situation, and to be able to write the story and probably to direct those very young actors, I was constantly thinking, what was my pain, what was my suffering, what was my anguish when I was 16. So I had constantly to put me back and remember, I was shy, I had like a big thing in the throat because I didn't dare to talk. And I think this is the only way to project, is to come back to your own memory. For instance, being a mother, I thought all the time when my boy was 14, well, remember what you were doing when you were 14. And then you can relate and you can understand and you can talk and then things are all right.
Does anyone out of the 27 have any responses to the idea of memory?